To find true peace, Zen invites you first to cease the relentless chase for external validation. That subtle yet powerful habit of measuring your worth by the applause or approval of others. A habit that knots the mind in anxious striving, for no matter how many praises you collect or likes you garner, the next yes always feels just out of reach, and so peace slips further away. When you stop seeking approval, you recognize that your true value is not bestowed by the world, but arises from the depth of your own being. Like a mountain that stands unmoved by weather, so too, you stand in the integrity of your own heart, free from the fluctuations of praise and blame, and you learn to trust the quiet wisdom within rather than the fickle judgments without. Next, let go of the stubborn resistance to what is, another silent tormentor that binds you to suffering. For when you refuse to accept life's unfolding, whether it brings joy or pain, you erect barriers between yourself and reality, locking yourself in a prison of should and must, rather than inhabiting the open expanse of what is. In Zen practice, you learn to meet each moment with open arms, to bow gracefully to both blossoms and storms, understanding that resistance only adds a second arrow to your suffering, whereas acceptance softens the heart, clears the mind, and allows life's energy to flow through you, unhindered, like water around a stone, yielding, adaptable, peaceful. Finally, relinquish the habit of overthinking and constant mental commentary, the never-ending dialogue in your head that critiques every action, dwells on every mistake, and rehearses every possible future scenario. This mental noise steals peace as surely as a thief in the night. For the more you spin thoughts in circles, the further you drift from the quiet reservoir of presence in which peace naturally resides. Zen teaches that thoughts are like clouds drifting across the sky of awareness. They appear, they linger, and they pass. But you are the sky itself, vast and undisturbed. And when you rest in the spaciousness beneath thought, you reclaim the stillness that has always been yours. As you cease these three patterns, seeking approval, resisting what is, and overthinking, you discover dimensionless space within, a sanctuary of calm that no external storm can reach. And in that space, you awaken to the simple truth that peace is not something to be attained, but something to be uncovered by letting go of the very habits that veil it. As you let the first three teachings settle, releasing the need for approval, embracing what is, and quieting the endless mind chatter, you begin to notice subtler undercurrents that keep you from peace. Patterns so deeply woven into your life that they feel natural, but are in fact quietly draining your serenity. The habit of comparing yourself to others, which arises when you look outward for benchmarks of success or happiness, and forget that every path is unique. This comparison breeds envy and self-judgment, stealing your joy. So Zen invites you to drop the measure of better or worse, and instead honor your own journey. Like two trees growing side by side, each with its own shape and rhythm, both equally worthy of sun and sky. Next, you see the hidden trap of clinging to plans and outcomes, a subtle insistence that life must conform to your blueprint, while in truth, existence unfolds with its own intelligence beyond your control. When you stop clutching at your agenda and start meeting each moment as a fresh opportunity, you discover that failure and delay were never enemies, but teachers guiding you back to presence. And then, there is the overlooked pattern of numbing yourself through busyness, distraction, or compulsive consumption, endless screen time, endless tasks, because you fear the emptiness of doing nothing. Here, Zen gently reveals that true rest is not a luxury, but a necessity, that the gap between activities is sacred ground where insight and peace arise. So you learn to honor silence as a friend rather than an absence, to carve out moments of stillness in the day, and to recognize that your worth is never tied to productivity, but inherent in simply being. By ceasing these three additional tendencies, comparison, clinging, and numbing, you clear space for deeper peace to emerge. You learn to move through life as the ocean moves through the moon's pull, in rhythm rather than in resistance, in openness rather than in grasping, and in presence rather than in escape. And as you carry forward this deep letting go of seeking approval, resisting what is, overthinking, comparing, clinging to control, and numbing your awareness, you begin to sense that peace arises not only from stopping these harmful habits, but from replacing them with their compassionate opposites, creating a living balance that transforms every moment into an opportunity for awakening. You start practicing radical acceptance, greeting each experience, pleasant or painful, with the same open heart, knowing that resistance only compounds suffering, but acceptance illuminates its lessons and softens the edges of hardship. You cultivate mindful curiosity, turning toward your thoughts and emotions not as threats to fend off, but as messengers to be heard saying, "Thank you for showing up," and then gently asking, "What wisdom do you bring?" And you nurture intentional presence, weaving rest into your days, like breath woven into each moment, pausing to feel the weight of your body, the flow of your breath, the presence of life itself, honoring each pause as a sanctuary rather than a gap in productivity. Through these practices, you not only cease your three most destructive tendencies, but also embody their healing counterparts. Non-judgment replaces comparison, surrender replaces clinging, and presence replaces numbing. And in this alchemy of letting go and letting be, you come to rest in the unshakable ground of your own awareness, where peace is not a distant goal, but the very nature of your being, expressed in every breath, every step, and every silent acknowledgement that, in Zen, true liberation is not found in accumulation, but in the gentle art of release. And as this living practice, releasing old habits and embracing their compassionate opposites, takes root, you discover that peace is not a static state, but a dynamic balance, like a boat gliding smoothly yet responsively across ever-shifting waters. You notice that the final hidden impediment to peace often lies in resisting your own shadow, the parts of yourself you'd rather hide, anger, fear, shame. So you learn the courage of shadow yoga, turning toward these uncomfortable feelings with gentleness, allowing them to surface in your awareness without clutching or fleeing. For in befriending your full self, you dissolve the inner conflict that robs you of serenity. Alongside this, you recognize the subtle pull of seeking certainty, that desire for absolute answers in an inherently mysterious existence, and you practice embracing uncertainty as a fertile ground for creativity and trust, learning that the edge of not knowing is where wisdom often flowers. And you see the lonely echo of perfectionism, the relentless voice that demands flawlessness. So you extend radical self-compassion, treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer a dear friend, forgiving your mistakes, honoring your humanity, and thereby releasing the harsh inner judge that vetoes peace. Through these three further shifts, befriending your shadow, welcoming uncertainty, and practicing radical self-compassion, you complete the alchemy of transformation. You cease the 6 destructive habits and embody 9 healing practices, and thus you stand in the open space of pure awareness, where peace is no longer a distant aspiration, but the living pulse of each moment, carrying you gently through life's currents with trust, love, and profound presence. And in this culmination of release and remembrance, You find that peace is not a prize to be won, but the very essence of presence itself, whispering in the breath, humming in the pulse, shimmering in the stillness between thoughts. And so you practice one final alchemy of integration, weaving together all 10 transformative shifts into a living tapestry of awareness. You flow like water, yielding yet powerful. You honor impermanence, opening to life's constant dance of change. You rest in presence, offering your full attention to each unfolding moment. You stand in equanimity, unshaken by praise or blame. You embody acceptance, greeting joy and pain alike with an open heart. You cultivate mindful curiosity, meeting every thought and emotions as a teacher. You nurture intentional rest, honoring silence as sanctuary. You embrace your shadow, befriending every part of yourself with compassion. You welcome uncertainty, trusting the unknown as the fertile ground of insight. And you extend radical self-compassion, forgiving your humanity with tenderness. In this vast, integrated practice, the 3 things you needed to stop doing: seeking approval, resisting what is, and overthinking, along with the subtle habits of comparison, clinging and numbing, and the hidden pulls of perfectionism, the need for certainty, and avoidance of your own darkness, all dissolve into the radiant clarity of your own awakened nature, where peace is not earned, but uncovered, moment by moment, breath by breath. As you live fully the Zen teaching that to find peace, you need only cease the chasing, soften into being, and remember the stillness that has always been your home. If this message brought you calm, this space is always here for you. Subscribe, return, and walk this quiet path with us, one breath at a time. Until next time, remember, those who are free of resentful thoughts surely find peace.